Hello everyone and welcome back to City Skylines New York. This is episode 4 and today I'm going to be starting off the video in this little live play just because I want to actually talk to you guys and walk you through sort of like what I plan to do in today's episode, which is mainly going to be a bunch of like road placing. I really want to get to work on the road layout and sort of infrastructure, road infrastructure of the city itself, because currently like for example here, the Brooklyn Bridge, not looking too good. There's not really a connection into Manhattan, nothing really too official, even like here with the Manhattan Bridge, and just stuff like that. I really want to get to work on the sort of like interchanges over here and like work on the outside connections of the map, because currently this over here, where is it here, is the only way in and out of the city, and I want to fix that. And whoa, that was laggy. I apologize for that. But yeah, this is the only like way in or out of the map, and yeah, I want to fix that. I want to take this island over here that's on the New Jersey side, and I'm gonna try and like expand it into the edge of the map and create like a larger landmass, and have an outside connection somewhere over here that'll just like connect up into the city, and hopefully towards like this middle section of Manhattan where the Lincoln Tunnel is going to be. Actually, I'm going to try and work on that today as well. I'm definitely not going to do anything too detailed today. It's literally just going to be a bunch of road placing, and I'm going to try and make it look good, but definitely no detail work in today's episode. But yeah, I really just want to get to work on something a little bit more official, especially in this area over here, because I'm not gonna lie, this isn't looking too great. This is literally just a bunch of temporary road work, and yeah, that's gonna get fixed in today's episode. So yeah, without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy today's video. Something that I kind of failed to mention in that little introduction piece was that I'm also going to start terraforming up some areas around here in the city, because I did get quite a few comments in those first couple episodes that my map is too flat. There is much more like hills and variation and topography in real life in New York City, and I was well aware of that. I was definitely not going to create a giant flat map for this city, so here I am starting to actually play around with the terraform tools in City Skylines, which is something that I don't really do too often, so I'm surprised how good this actually managed to look in the end. But stepping aside from that conversation really quick, I do have a couple announcements actually, which are probably some of the big reasons why this episode is so delayed, because I wanted to get two things ready for this episode. The first one being an official Discord channel for this YouTube channel, where you guys can come on, share your City Skylines content, talk to me, talk to each other, and just have a good old blast. I'm sure you guys have been a part of multiple City Skylines Discord channels before, so this one isn't really anything new, but it's mine, so if it's there as a resource for you guys to get in touch and share your City Skylines content, because I'd really like to see what you guys have to bring to the table. I really want to see what kind of content and just cities you guys are making, because I absolutely love seeing everyone's screenshots and videos, either on Twitter or on anyone else's Discord channel. So I kind of just wanted to make my own little hub for that. But yeah, Discord channel, it's up and running, hopefully, and a link to that will be down below in the description. And the second announcement I have is I have launched a Patreon for any of you that are willing to support my channel and my content and myself financially. I'm not gonna make too many changes to the channel because of that. All my content is definitely still gonna be free to you guys. except for obviously what I post on Patreon, which is not, it's probably just gonna be like behind the scenes stuff. It's already up and running, but one of the higher tiers do include special access to a Patreon only Discord chat on my server. So yeah, I'll put a screen cap of it on screen if I remember, but the link to the Patreon is also down below in the description for you guys to check out if you're interested and are willing to support me financially, which would mean so much to me because I am a college student and I am poor. So there you go. But yeah, those are the two announcements that I have to get out of the way for this video. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to have those two things up and running before I actually launched this video, because I just didn't want to wait too long afterwards to just announce it for the next one. So here you go. Anyways, back to what's on camera. So I'm currently trying to get my own little spin or version of, I believe it's called a Washington Bridge. Yeah, I believe that's what it's called. I'm not too sure though, but it's this bridge that connects Upper Manhattan to New Jersey, and it kind of just cuts through this little peninsula here I like to call it the tail of Manhattan, but I don't know if that's anything official, but kind of cuts through the middle of it, gutting this little neighborhood in half. And that's basically what I'm trying to replicate here. It does have this very interesting feature that just, well, it's probably not too interesting, but it has this development on top of the freeway that cuts through the middle of the island, where there's just these 4 giant towers just sitting above the freeway. And I just thought that was a really interesting feature that I don't know if I'm gonna actually try and replicate here because of the way City Skylines works. If I try and place a building on top of the road, it's like the base of it is just gonna cut through the tunnel that would exist there. So I mean, it's not too big of a deal, but if I ever do plan or want to do some little like driving videos, you're gonna see that in the tunnel and it's gonna look terrible. So I don't know if I'm gonna actually go ahead with that in the future. But yeah, this little area was pretty difficult for me to try and replicate because of just the way these roads connect to each other. I'll try to show some like Google Earth imagery right now, but it's a lot of spaghetti roads, a lot of spaghetti junctions, and it's just pretty confusing at a glance. So I try to imitate it, but I didn't try to recreate it, if you know what I mean. Again, that's a very common theme with this series in general, due to just my willingness to actually build certain things and just the scale that I have created for myself. It's not going to be easy to do many things to scale in this game, so I just kind of have to cut corners where I have to. But I do really like how this area ended up turning out with this little arch bridge and connections to both freeways that are on either side of Manhattan, especially with all these trees that I just ended up placing down with this brush. It's I don't know, I love the way that contrast works with having the city be on, or having the city and the forest be like in the same little area. I don't know how to describe this, but just the contrast between the forest and the city, it just looks amazing to me. I don't even know if this is actually like a forest. It's probably like some sort of park that residents enjoy and go to. I can see that there's some like baseball parks and stuff around the perimeter of it on Google Maps here, but yeah, I just really like the way this whole area just turned out. And now I'm starting to actually build up the New Jersey side. I'm starting off by creating this sort of cliff feature that exists, which I honestly love the way this looks. I don't know, it also serves as a great contrast between the city and just the natural geography of this place. It looks amazing to me. I don't know, but yeah, I tried to recreate that here, and this is also where I start expanding the freeway and connecting it up to the outskirts of the map, so I can have another little outside connection on the west side of the city. And at this point is when I started to see a bunch of these cars and traffic just traveling along the the freeways here, which at first I thought was amazing because I love seeing traffic, but I soon realized that they were all just turning around in this little section of the road here that I made, and turns out they all really just wanted to go down to Manhattan. And I didn't really give them a little slip lane down at that other intersection right there on camera to do so. So I figured that it was time to start working on a solution, which in this case ended up being the actual Lincoln Tunnel. I forgot the name of it for a second there, but the Lincoln Tunnel. It was such a difficult thing for me to recreate because I haven't really ever seen the Lincoln Tunnel before. I just knew it kind of existed. And when it came to actually building this in City Skylines, obviously I went to Google Earth to see what I was about to make myself do, and I was terrified because I didn't know what I was looking at. There is so many roads just going all over the place. I was actually contemplating just not building this at some point, but I just took it upon myself and just said, like, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm told myself I was going to build New York, so I'm going to build New York to the best of my abilities. And again, I ended up building like a more bare bones version of the Lincoln Tunnel, but I feel like I got most of the stuff right. At least not layout wise, but just like the vibes it's getting off, you know. But yeah, it was a very interesting build, honestly. I honestly can't wait to actually continue working on this little area and detailing it up, and yeah, just making it look so much cooler and better than what I did today. Because again, I really just placed on the roads and called it a day, because that's really what I wanted to focus on in this episode. But yeah, it was a very challenging project for me to do, and a necessary one, because I don't know if you saw earlier, but as I was flying around, I saw traffic building up on that little bridge I was building just a couple minutes ago, and I figured out that they all just kind of wanted to go towards the center of Manhattan, and the only real route that they had was to circle around to this giant like interchange that I did and do a bunch of logical things. So I just gave them that connection that they needed into the center of Manhattan via the Lincoln Tunnel. And yeah, I'm really glad that I did. I honestly don't know how this is gonna hold up later in the future with with the traffic that's gonna end up flowing through here. It's probably gonna be a mess. I'm probably gonna have to rebuild this, and if I do have to rebuild this, I'm gonna cry, because I'm just not looking forward to that future being a possibility. But hopefully all goes well. And yeah, this is the part where I actually end up connecting the actually creating the Lincoln Tunnel itself, and connecting both sides of the river. And I ended up I ended up like squishing down this New Jersey side a bit, because the interchange that exists before the little entrance to the Lincoln Tunnel by the New Jersey end, it's much further away from this sort of freeway infrastructure, and I just ended up building it like right next to it. So I don't know how that's gonna work later in the future. The interchange that I end up building in a couple minutes, it looks great, but I'm just not really comfortable with the proximity that I decided to build it. Yeah, I just don't know how that's gonna hold up, but I feel like I can actually pull off something interesting, because looking at New Jersey, it's very, I want to say swampy. I'm just looking at the map right now, and there's just like giant like swampy looking areas just in between different parts of the city, and just like freeways cutting in between or into the swamps, and it looked really interesting. I didn't actually know this about New Jersey up until I researched it and built this little area. Here is that little interchange that I just mentioned that I built way too close to the entrance of the Lincoln Tunnel, but it is what it is. I'm actually looking forward to working with this sort of like infrastructure that I just built up in this episode, because I don't know, I really want to get to work on, I've already gotten to work on like a lot of like infrastructure layout, like where all the rails are gonna go, where all the freeways are gonna go, but I haven't really planned out like the gradual changes between the city and the countryside, because that's something that I actually want to implement in this map as well. I don't want it to just be one giant city. I want there to be a transition between the metropolis and the swamps that exist outside of New Jersey, and forests and farmlands. And I don't know how well that's going to work with the scale that I'm working with, but I don't know, like having just farms just like seconds away from a giant bustling downtown. It's going to be very interesting, but I will do my best to make it work, and I'm actually quite excited to see what I managed to pull off in that department. But yeah, currently working on the bridges that connect the Brooklyn and Queens side, actually mainly just the Brooklyn side of Manhattan to Brooklyn. I don't know if I said that right, but you get what I mean. But yeah, this was definitely long overdue. I kind of just placed the bridges there at the start and didn't really connect them up, but the way I end up doing this, I actually took a lot of notes off of Google Maps. I did end up using the Arc de Triomphe that exists, that's in Paris. I don't know if I said that right, but because the one that exists in New York, it's not in the workshop, so I just grabbed a random arch off the internet, or off the workshop, and called it a day. Still looks good, so don't yell at me, at least in my opinion. But here is one of my most favorite little interchanges that I did in today's episode, which is this little, the one that connects up the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan. I actually, I want to say I copied this one for one, but I'm not too sure. I wasn't trying to put my own spin on it. I was actually trying to copy what exists off of Google Earth, but how well I managed to actually pull it off is entirely up to you guys. I think it looks pretty good, but who knows? Maybe you guys can yell at me in the comments and just tell me that it looks like crap, but I definitely need to get Node Controller, which is this new mod that, as the name states, it allows you to control the nodes in very different ways that make your roads just look so much better. I haven't really looked into it. I just know it's a really awesome mod that exists, and it's relatively new, and a lot of people have started using it and making their cities look so incredible. So yeah, I really need to get to downloading that mod and playing around with it myself. I know it would have made a really big difference here in this specific build that you're seeing on screen. But I don't know, I think I managed to do a relatively good job with these little roads that are just going all these different directions, trying to connect up the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan. The traffic flow here is incredible at the end, as you'll see in the cinematics that are about to play in a couple seconds, because yeah, the video is now approaching its final few seconds. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys sticking around. I appreciate you guys waiting so long for this video to come out. I apologize, but I did just move into college, and I've been dealing with all that stuff again. So yeah, join the Discord if you really want to, and if you're willing to support me financially, there is the Patreon link down there as well. Greatly appreciate you guys with the support that you guys have been giving me lately. It's insane, and I just really appreciate what you guys have done for my channel. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you guys in episode 5 of City Skylines New York.